when I'm puffing on a potent, silent, but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree. You know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog. I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, have me nervous. I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus. I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I
Wagwan, people. It's your boy Yardman Leng, Yardman9, whatever you know me as. We're back for another video. I did kind of want to talk on this one because I've had a lot of questions on the channel, specifically around this whole HPA vibe, or whether you're going for the wire straight to a HPA bottle, or you're going for the green gas wire straight from the tap straight into the green gas bottle. So I kind of wanted to speak on this. So recently, anyone who's been watching gameplay has been noticing I've been complaining about how reliable these gas mags are and how much they hold compared to how much gas they hold, etc. Now this is a Voss mag, and to be fair, it's done fairly decent. Like, I tend to, off a full reload of gas, I tend to get, it holds 28 shots. I tend to get 2 full mags and then maybe about 3 or 4 shots at a push. But by the time I get those 3-4 shots, you know, like when the hammer doesn't make it all the way back and things like that, that's what you tend to get. So I'd say to somebody like a mag and a half, comfortable, like reliable, you can trust it kind of thing. But I want more BBs, so I went for this AirTac option. I was looking, like, when looking at the market and trying to get feedback on what was worth buying and what to invest my money in, a lot of people kind of spoke over the whole M4 thing. Now, I did originally have one. I think I'd done a video on the channel, so if you haven't seen it, have a look. But look at the difference. An MP5 mag compared to M4 mag, there is quite a difference. Do you get what I'm saying? There is very much quite a difference. So for me, I kind of wanted to go for the more slimmer option, just to give myself the ability to, like, I'll show you quickly, for example, tuckability's sake, like that, as opposed to a more chunkier frame, allows when going around corners or things like that, having the more possibility of just better gameplay. And you know what, give me 2 seconds, guys, I'm gonna adjust this camera. I feel like you guys could get a better angle of what's going on if you're a bit higher up. So I'm gonna try to give you guys a better viewpoint. I think that works a bit better, because then you can actually see everything that I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, like, I basically went for AirTac one, because I just feel like it, in terms of size and compatibility, and even when I've got the mag or the gun holstered, it just fits a lot more nicer. So when on the market, when looking on the market, I found 2 brands who actually do these particular adapters, this section here. And you know what, let me remove it quick so that you guys can see, because this is the MP5 mag itself, which, if you like, I'll show you quickly. If you have a look, like, there is such a difference. It's kind of why I always say to people, have a look, test things out and see, because I'm an M4 man. Anyone knows the channel full of M4s. But look at the difference. It does make a difference in terms of tuckability, and even sometimes just chucking into your dump pouches. So do think about that. I will never give up on my M4s, but trust me, it just makes sense. So yeah, and if you notice, there isn't much. Oh, like a donut. I forgot that I had BBs loaded in there, but it's alright, it gets like that. The worst thing is, I've had to clean up BBs. I had to hoover my room 4 times in the last 2 days where I've done so much shoot testing and building guns. So looks like I'm gonna have to do that again tonight. It gets like that. But yeah, like I was saying, like, there isn't much difference in terms of the size of the mag comparison. That's kind of one thing I did really like. It's so small. It's literally just like almost having like a little what do you call it, mag plate, like a chunky mag plate essentially. And then obviously your tap would go straight onto there, which, if you give me 2 seconds, I will show you, so it makes sense for those viewers who are like, what the hell is he talking about? I know that I have a lot of noobs So yeah, essentially what happens is you'd have a US adapter on one side, you'd have your actual valve on that side, you chuck that over, pull that back, and then it slides on, push that forwards, and then it's locked on. So it just makes a whole load of sense. Like, even if you look at it, when loaded, it's not a bad system. I currently run mine straight to a green gas or a red gas bottle via my other side of my adapters like this, but I will be going over to HPA, so I will be doing other videos so that you guys can see the difference between the two. To be fair, there isn't much great difference. Like, the PSIs can get roughly about the same depending on what gas you're using, and it's kind of the same. Like, the adapters are the same, apart from obviously one side would be a lot more bigger because it would be going onto a HPA bottle, whereas this is a bit smaller because it's literally going onto a green gas bottle. And they're handy little things. I bought mine for 25 quid, but I have seen them a lot cheaper. I've seen some of them for 10 quid, and like you see, I've tapped it. Well, not tapped it, but it's been sprung twice where I've gone to sites and they've wanted to just check that I'm running a safe PSI. But so yeah, so that's that. So at least you guys know what it goes into. It does also work HPA, but before I took my pistols over to HPA, and I would probably advise this to everybody, I wanted to tap the guns to a green gas just to make sure that I don't blow the pistol to smithereens. Because, for example, this pistol, which is my main shooting club pistol, this is made by Vosk. Now Vosk don't always build their pistols with the highest quality parts. The pistols are great, don't get me wrong, value for money, reliable, is why I've made it my shooting club gun. Only done a few things to this, but I'll do another review another day and show you guys what's inside of it, because it's a good little gun. Got a tracer on the end, a flashlight, pretty cool system. Yeah, I'll talk about it another day. But yeah, but I wanted to test it. So I always say to people, do a gradual test before you go straight over to HPA. Grab a tap similar to mine, run it to the green gas bottle, and see if your system can support it. Do 100 rounds through, check your gun over, make sure nothing's broken, and then put it to HPA and run the PSI up little by little by little. I would say rise it, like maybe start with maybe like at least a 60-70 PSI, and then gradually build it up to a 70, 80, 90. Maybe don't push it past a 120 because that's advice I've got from other high kappa users, but they use like WE platforms or AAP platforms. But yeah, so AirTac. I wanted to speak on AirTac quite a bit because obviously they're who I bought the system from. I did see Novrich also make a same type style adapter that literally just slots on to the mag, because that's essentially what it is. It literally is one of these, because they sent me a replacement car, that one was broken, but I'll speak about that in a sec. So it literally is just like an adapter bottom that slots onto your mag. You have to have a donor mag, and then it basically turns it into one of these where you can attach the MP5 adapter to it, or the MP5 to it, MP5 mag to it, essentially giving you 130 rounds compared to the average 28 to, I think the highest high kappa standard mag I've seen is 31 rounds, and that's with one in the chamber, so technically 30 rounds in the mag. Which to be fair is good, but for us pistol users who like to run the pistol, like for example when I go Mayhem, I like to run the pistol as a primary all the way through the game. Now often, depending on how the games are set up and how many players and how long each game is, you tend to need at least maybe 2 of these mags worth, because I've only got a pistol and there's a guy shooting me with an M4 who can slap featherweight trigger, you know what I'm saying? So it's nice to have 130, because then rather than taking one shot, I can take 3 and then move, take 3 and then move, and it gives me a good amount of ratio in one game. But why we're doing this video is merely just to review the whole, well, my starter experience of going over, or my transition over into HPA. So what I did originally was about 2-3 weeks ago, I ordered one. I got it, I put it together. Now one thing I will say, and you'll see when I open the replacement one, like lining this bloody thing up, it took me ages. I probably spent an hour at home trying it, then I went to the shop, spent an hour there, gave it to one of the guys, he also failed, and then luckily Papa Smurf, I call him Papa Shadow, should I say, man like Gary, because of his experience in airsoft and stuff, the moment I gave it to him, it literally took him 2 to 3 minutes, and he passed it back over to me, and it had lined up. And essentially what I'm talking about is when you put the mag, so if you have a look at this is my new donor mag for, well, it's not a new donor mag, it's just an old mag I've had that I'm going to use as a donor mag for the new replacement. But yeah, like when you put the bottom bit on, which is essentially the adapter, that bit, you have to line it up with this screw in there. I'm not sure if you guys can see it on the camera, but if you look right down in there, there's like a screw. Now when you've got the adapter over it, you cannot see around in there, so you're basically playing a guessing game. And like I said, I spent 2 hours, gave it to other people 2 hours, well, an hour again, and still wasn't able to do it. The M41 was difficult, but I was able to do it in the end. But that was a CTM, not an AirTac one. So again, I'm gonna give it a try again, and hopefully I can do it, because I'm not on a long thing tonight with this. I just want to touch it, and I'm gonna use this as my main game one. But yeah, so essentially what had happened was I put it together finally. We went to Mayhem on the Sunday, and I think I was probably 2 games in, and I was using my pistol as like my primary for the day. And just because I wanted to test to see, like, can a pistol really like fulfill my needs in airsoft, as well as just test like how reliable is this thing. Can I actually certify it as my final loadout? I'm currently in the stage of kind of like, you know, like if you play airsoft, you know, like you get in, you want to buy everything, you want to test everything, and then you kind of get to a stage where you're like, I've spent quite a lot of money, it's time to kind of now be focused and build a good loadout that I can trust. Maybe build a shooting club loadout that I can trust, maybe have like a backup gun or 2, and then yeah, just leave it there. You know what I'm trying to say? Even with your body kit and your gear and your eye protection and stuff, you kind of go through the same motion. You're like, oh, let me test, and then you get to a stage where you're like, I know what I like, let me buy a high quality version of that, and let me just stick with it. Because then when it's time to go airsoft, it's very simple. You have a look at your loadout. Is it loadout 1? Is it loadout 2? Is it even the backup guns? Alright, I packed my loadout. Let me look at my gear. Okay, this is my finalized gear. Boom, you're packed. Whereas I've had times where I've spent days trying to work out what I'm bringing, and it's just because you just got so much going on. You're not sure. You want to upgrade this, you want to do that. I'm getting to the stage where I'm trying to like streamline things and just have, like I said, 2 main loadouts, maybe some backup guns here and there, a shooting club loadout, and that's that, which essentially is what I've currently got. But we'll speak about that in another video. So we had got 2 games through, and this was probably like the last 10 minutes of the game. I've ran up to a container, and I can see 2 or 3 people shooting me. So I've kind of tucked the corner, bam, 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 got one of them out. And you might even see it in the content, because that content will come out soon. But yeah, I've got one of them out. So to my knowledge, there's only one more guy left, because the other guy, there was 3 of them originally, but the other guy kind of disappeared. Like, I genuinely checked a couple times, peeked a couple times, and still could not see this guy. So I saw one, so I was like, alright, cool, there's one guy. I peeked, but I can't get a clear shot on him because I'm like at a bus, so the bus is in front of me right here, and I'm peeking from the right hand side. But though I'm right-handed, as I'm coming around the corner, it's like I can't quite line him up. I'm having to stand all the way around and peek at like a angle like that, as opposed to a straight angle. So I've decided that there's another cover, like it's like a container thing on the right hand side. So I've decided, okay, I'm gonna run over there, and then what that will give me is a left angle on this guy. So my cover will be on the right hand side, and I'll be peeking around on the left, which gives me a direct straight angle at this guy. That's my plan in my head. So I've run over to this container, but in the middle, so in between where I currently am and where the container is, as I've ran out, rather than there being one guy, I've taken like a, you know, like as you run, you turn quickly. So I'm shooting, but as I've turned, I've seen there's like 4 or 5 of them now. I'm like, what the hell? So I've panicked, innit? I'm like, I swear I just peeked and there was only one of them left. So I've panicked and kind of had to like slide into the container and kind of duck, so I'm dodging all their BBs. As I've hit the container, I've kind of hit the container with some force, but it looks like as I've hit the container, and I'll show you quickly just so it makes some sense. As I've hit the container, it's like I've spun, but the bottom of the adapter has hit the container, and it's obviously it's my full body's force, and I'm quite a thin guy, so when I pick up speed, I'm going quite quick. So I've hit the container. I haven't realized I've peeked the corner with the gun, and remember I've got a pistol, so I've literally peeked the corner like that, and I'm ready to shoot. Slap, slap. I've clicked the trigger, it's gone slap, but not like, you know when the hammer goes, I'll show you quickly, like, when the hammer releases, but the hammer only gets to maybe about there. So the first shot hasn't even made it, and I've clicked the trigger again, it's not gone anywhere. So I panicked, took back cover and looked at the gun, and by this point I still haven't realized, you know, anything's damaged. I've taken out the mag, I'm firing. Okay, I'm like, okay, the gun's firing, all right, yeah, it's making it back and forth, it's charging, the BBs are going in, all right, cool. So by this point is now when I've looked at the adapter, and all I can see is a fat crack literally coming from about here going up and across. So from right here, right on the edge, you know, it's why there's this black wrap tape thing on it, and I'll show you the new one so you can see the difference. Like, you can even see it, like I've even put some yellow tape in there, like it cracked. But yeah, let me show you quickly. So essentially cracked from here all the way up and then across to just underneath the valve, and then it had cracked somewhere down here in the corner, but only halfway. So by this point I'm like panicking, I'm like, oh, it's my main gun, I've only got this, it's starting to upset my day. So I've kind of looked at it and I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do, man, because I've got two mags like this. I've just got the adapter, what the hell am I gonna do? So this is where in the back of my brain I remember reading the AirTac product information, and them saying that this has a lifetime warranty. So essentially you can break this, and they'll replace it. They will ask for pictures and potentially ask you to describe in detail what took place, but they will replace it, which is, you just can't complain. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because when I read that, it really put my mind at ease. I walked back to the safe zone and was like, oh, what the hell am I gonna do? And I kind of opened the email and I read it and I was like, oh damn, okay, so I've got a replacement when I go home, so I just need to email them, which is why I've now got this one, which I'm gonna install. But I was like, oh, I really want to play with it. So I'd basically asked one of the marshals if he's got safety tape, because I didn't bring my safety tape box that day, and I essentially wrapped yellow safety tape just to kind of hold the frame back in. And then there was another player on the day, big him up, man. He had basically like this car wire wrap, which is like a cloth material, but it's sticky on one side, and I essentially just wrapped and was able to, if you have a look, I was able to kind of like create back the rectangle system which the MP5 mag would go into. I did have to adjust the base plate and do a few things just to fine tune this mag to work, so I'm hoping on the new one I don't have to do the same thing, because I did kind of have to add like a little, not O-ring, but like it was like a metal circle shim basically, to just give it an extra space so that would feed in the BB. So I'm really praying I don't have to do that today. I'm hoping this one will just work straight out the box, but we'll see how we get on. But yeah, like one thing I will say, like, is in terms of reviewing, because I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be, in terms of reviewing, like, so far, once I finally got the system to work, it was really good. But for about a day and a half, I just couldn't get it to work, because it like I said, it took about 4 hours trying to get the system to line up and get the donor mag on. The slotting in thing, this thing right here in the middle, which centers the BBs as opposed to have them double stacked, that was fairly easy to do, so that was really good. What else? I had a big issue trying to get these mags to feed, and what I found it was this, like at the back it has a base plate. If you look at this one, I've had to add a shim right at the back of it to get line up just to feed the BBs. I only realized how to do that.
Past actions, ish I had to do. If we unified, we overcome slavery. Many think it, I just say it, call it bravery. Young, progressive and black, you know they hate to see independent. I don't care what labels could pay a G. So much leng past my lung. Private company feeding us GMO foods, they wanting us trapped. My young boy just came home for booting, that young nigga tapped. Can't be slipping when I'm puffing on a potent, silent but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree, you know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog, I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, have me nervous, I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus, I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I